Welcome to the Popish Plot. I'm Nate.
And I'm Jessica.
Today, we are here to talk about another one of those saintly virtues,
Okay.
diligence. Previously this week, we talked about sloth, diligence, or as they called it in Latin, industria. Add an L onto it and it's industrial.
Yeah, I know.
But it is considered by many to be the virtue that best combats sloth. Which I'm not entirely sure I agree with entirely, although I don't know what the better one would be. Simply because sloth was being broken under the weight, if you will. Mm-hmm. And this one is kind of sort of a fake it till you make it. Mm. As far as how they work against each other.
Yeah, it's not
a real solid one. But we'll look at it as we go along. So definitions. Mm-hmm. I just got one from Merriam-Webster this time.
Uh-huh. I think you should use different dictionaries.
Okay.
I'm just saying, you always pick that one.
It's because everybody knows it as being a dictionary. I suppose I could go with like Oxford. Mm-hmm. But anyways, steady, earnest, and energetic effort, persevering application. Much like with everything else that we've done so far, a lot of what people know about these things tends, at least in the modern sense, tends to go right back to that Protestant work ethic, the commercialized, monetized societies. So it's about either, with sloth it was not working. Now it's doing work diligently.
I also think that clearly the animal for diligence is the tortoise, which makes it interesting because both sloths and tortoises are slow.
That would work.
And in fact, having seen, the most active sloth ever, I think, I'm pretty sure tortoises are slower.
Might be. I did find an interesting way of explaining, though, what we mean when we talk about diligence as a virtue. As a spiritual virtue as opposed to a common virtue. And that was that diligence is the effort to do one's part while keeping faith and reliance in God. So when you compare that to sloth, which was this sorrow that you have in regards to spiritual good, diligence would be striving toward that good in faith. So the person who's feeling the effects of sloth might be disinclined to go to confession, say, when they've got a sin that they'd really rather not have to confess. And diligence would be them then going to confession anyways and confessing that sin, relying on their faith in God that He will forgive them even though they find that sin to just be too great to bother God with.
Okay.
And I did find a passage that in the Bible that talks about this diligence, I think.
Okay.
So if you want to go ahead and read Hebrews chapter 6, verses 11 and 12.
Okay. But we want every one of you to show to the very end the same earnestness for the fulfillment of your hopes, so that you may become not sluggish, but imitators of those who by faith and patience will inherit the promises.
Where they say earnest,
I could see diligence.
In many versions, it's actually translated as diligence.
Yes, and it has slugs in it.
Which
is another animal.
Which is another animal that you can attribute to sloth. I know this makes you super happy. See, look at that smile.
I like slugs, though. They're kind of cute.
So
not as cute as snails, because they're homeless.
So, as I said when we were talking about sloth, I felt it was important right now to discuss this because right now, many of us are living in a situation where we are under self-imposed lockdowns, if you will. We're not able to go out and work. We're not able to go out and practice our faith in the way that we want, in the way that we are used to. And as a result, I see there being a real opportunity for sloth to really get into people's lives. Well, that means that this is all the more a time for diligence. We need to be diligent in living out our faith and in modifying our faith practices in times when we cannot live out our faith the way that we are used to doing. So, say for example, going and watching live streams of masses. That's an excellent way for people who can't get to mass to continue on that practice. Even when it feels like this isn't the same, this all feels kind of empty and hollow, and I just don't want to do it anymore. Go and do it anyways. Like I said at the beginning of this, there's a certain amount of fake it till you make it in using diligence to combat sloth. Mm-hmm. It's not a one-shot kind of a thing. It's like we said with sloth. In diagnosing it and figuring out how to deal with it, you really need somebody else's help in order to go and do that. Well, since there is no one-shot easy way of finding what's wrong and fixing it, there's not going to be one easy one-shot way of making it all go away. Some of those things you're just going to have to find a way of doing and continue on in them with faith that through God, you will have the strength to get through this. So keep on watching those live streams of masses. If you are not being able to take part in the sacrament of reconciliation, go and do those, like I've heard many priests and other people suggest. You go and you make that act of that act of perfect contrition. You need to be sorry for it. You need to go and tell God you're sorry for it. Maybe give yourself something reasonable as a way of expressing that sorrow about that, and making the what's the word? And having the intent to, as soon as you are able, go to confession and confess that sin.
Yes. Many ones have pointed out exactly what it says, like in the Catechism and official rules, because most people don't just read the Catechism. It's very dry at times.
I don't know why people don't read the Catechism. I find it to be entirely entertaining.
Well, it's not a start to finish book.
No, it's not. You pick. It's more like a choose your own adventure.
I'm going to page 53.
I'm going to page 53.
Fight the pirates.
Fight the pirates.
Oh, that did not end well.
No.
Restart.
Go pick a different page. Yes, but it works much better the Catechism works much better along the lines of like an encyclopedia. You find the subject that you want to read about, and you go and you read everything about that. And maybe while you're reading that, you find another subject that you want to go and read. But I recommend the I think it's St. Charles Borromeo Catechism that's online. You can find it.
Yes.
Where you can actually go and search for the topic or the word that you want to go and research.
Yeah, you can sometimes do that with the Catechism at the Vatican, but like it used to have a really good search, and now it's a little more iffy.
Yeah,
because you have to like search all of archives.
I also like that one because the picture that they have on their website is a picture of the exact same copy of the Catechism that I have in my book bag. Mm-hmm. So, anyways, diligence, just do it. No, but seriously. In combating sloth, we need to persevere. We need to be diligent. We need to do it all in faith. Because if we're just doing it because some guy on the internet said, "Well, go and do it and it'll make you feel better," you're going to find that you're not necessarily going to feel better, and then you're going to stop. Anyways, go down below, hit the subscribe button, the bell right next to it, so you can get notified tomorrow of our next episode. Unless, of course, you're watching this out of time, in which case, go pick another episode from that playlist over on the left here. Right? The right here. When they're watching it on YouTube, there's a little playlist on the right.
Usually, depending on what they're watching on.
Fair enough. But go pick another one of our videos from that little playlist and carry on. And hit the like button. Because why not? And go down below and, maybe share some words of encouragement to those people who are feeling the need to practice their faith more diligently.
Or comment on which one you like better, slugs or snails.
I'm pro snail. They've got a shell. It makes them look a little bit prettier. Mm-hmm. Until next time, remember to live your faith.
Love your faith.
And share that love.
Hallelujah.